and set.
Beautiful. All right. Tell me, I mean, this is a pretty exciting moment. It's a landmark moment for your company, isn't it? Going in this direction.
Yeah, it's a quite significant departure from what you normally would expect from Rolls-Royce. For the very, very first time in the history of the brand, we are now in the so-called kind of SUV segment. And for very good reasons, because what we have witnessed worldwide is first of all a trend into these kind of car concepts, and then of course also that our target group, and we call them the ultra high net worth individuals, people with lots of assets, that they are getting younger and younger worldwide, and they are also catering for what I would call a massively more relaxed lifestyle. More outdoor kind of lifestyle, and also very much family-oriented lifestyle. And I mean, that is all the reasoning behind Cullinan now. This car allows you to put your dog into the car, to go up to your chalet in the French Alps, to go basically everywhere in a very effortless way, what Rolls-Royce is all about.
So it's a very different, I mean, I can imagine sort of businessmen holding important meetings in the back of the traditional Rolls-Royce. This is a different concept entirely, isn't it?
It is not any longer true that Rolls-Royce is only chauffeured in a way. So that is very much for the limousines, like a Phantom.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, we have added quite a lot of additional product to the brand. For instance, our coupe Wraith, or our seductive.
Okay, hold on.
All right, okay.
Airplane coming out of the aerodrome. That's what I was imagining that for a second.
No.
Resets. Recording.
So not in a chauffeur-driven, I mean, a lot of people driving their own Rolls now.
Yeah, I mean, that is definitely true. We've seen quite a significant shift from chauffeur only to very much self-driving, also very much on the back of cars we have introduced in the market recently, be it Wraith, our fastback coupe, or our Dawn, which is the seductive, sexy drop-top coupe and convertible. And for that reason now what we will see with Cullinan, that this is very much self-drivers car, family car, cars to bring kids to school, car to, let's say, load your family in, cars to go all over and to go to the yacht harbor, go up to your Swiss chalet in the Alps, and so on and so forth. It's a daily, practical, usable car.
Would you imagine that your customers will be people who already own a Rolls and then want something more utilitarian, or people who don't own a Rolls, probably haven't been in the market for one, and a whole new demographic of people?
Both.
Okay.
Both holds true. This car will be an addition to many, many Rolls-Royce garages in the world, that's for sure, but also I bet we will conquer quite a lot of customers from other segments being for the first time with us and joining the Rolls-Royce family for the sake of owning a Cullinan.
So what makes it an off-road, a family car? It's obviously higher. Tell me about the features of it that make it an SUV.
I mean, the biggest engineering masterpiece in Cullinan is that this car is a perfect blend of Magic Carpet Ride, what Rolls-Royce is all world famous for, in combination with what I call all-terrain capability, so a true 4x4 capability. And it in such a fantastic way that it allows you really to cross little creeks, to go over rocks whatsoever in a very comfortable and unseen way before. And the car is casual. You can take the car everywhere. You can go for fishing, you can take it in front of the opera. The car is something which is universal to a certain extent, and that makes it so attractive, particularly for families seeing this as the main car in their household.
You've already had some potential buyers come through and have a look. What's the response been like so far?
Fantastic response, and I mean, we have been in close contacts with many customers worldwide in the design phase of the car already, because I would say that probably Rolls-Royce is one of the most customer-focused brands in the world, also due to the fact that we are quite a small family worldwide with customers, and for that reason we are always searching for direct contact, for, let's say, direct feedback from our customer when it comes to product development ideas, and feedback on Cullinan is brilliant.
So was this customer-led? Did customers keep saying to you, it'd be good if you could take it off-road?
Of course, yeah, it's a must. I mean, to be off-road is a fundamental part of the Cullinan story, and you want to take the car off-road. It is an inbuilt brand promise in a way, and rest assured that our engineers did a brilliant job to deliver that later, and so you will experience it going everywhere. We call it effortless everywhere. That is the brand proposition of the Rolls-Royce Cullinan.
Was it quite a mind shift to be able to then take your design capabilities and put it into this type of vehicle?
I mean, it took us a while for good reasons, and we took our time to get the design absolutely right, because we wanted to propose a true Rolls-Royce on the one side, whilst at the other side also generating a customer proposition which is truly SUV, which is also truly flexible, which is also truly capable in doing different tasks in your household. And for that reason we took our time, and I think we got it right.
That's excellent. You're obviously very proud of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. Okay, that's wonderful. Thank you so
Lovely.
much. Okay, first of Giles, tell me about the process of designing an SUV for Rolls-Royce. I imagine that must have been quite a different starting point for you.
It was quite a challenge, and around about 5 years ago we knew we had to be in this sector. We knew that there was something which actually was very Rolls-Royce about this high-bodied, high-drive vehicle. And in many ways we have these fantastic stories relating to the jungles of India, Maharajas and Maharanis from the turn of the century, and to a chap called Lance Arabia who fought the Sinai Peninsula campaign with Go chassis, 16 Rolls-Royce in the desert. And he once proclaimed that a Rolls in the desert is above rubies. So we have these wonderful stories that feed the design team with inspiration to tackle what could be this vehicle for Rolls-Royce that rides high and has ultimate capability in not just soft-road but off-road areas as well.
So in a way, even though it seems a strange move to go from a Rolls to an SUV, in a way it's part of its history anyway, isn't it?
It is. We've been there. You know, we have had those chassis in hostile environments, in challenging environments, and somehow that led us to this idea that the vehicle had to have function and capability in its aesthetic. And that describes why some of these surfaces are quite brutal. They're chiseled, you know, they're there to be reckoned with. There's a level of strength and fortitude and invincibility in these sheer cowls and this very, very bluff front end. You know, we didn't want to shy away and do crossover or shooting brakes, whereby the lines are perhaps a little bit sweeter. This is very much about capability and authority, and it really goes back to those stories, North Africa and the jungles of India 100 years ago.
So tell me about some of the SUV features. How do you make it rolls into an SUV?
Well, again, starts the grille. You know, there's a level of presence that most of our luxury patrons really want the grille to be a symbol of presence and in some way status. We don't deny that. The grille is a beautiful part of our iconic history. And here it's interpreted in another way. It's a little bit deeper, a little bit wider than normal. And our figurine that sits atop is very much part of our design recipe for any Rolls-Royce. But as you can see here, we really get these big offsets to start to evoke the fact that this isn't any normal, tame, street-bound Rolls-Royce. It's something that can go off-road. So immediately look into these values and you see a car that has a purpose, has a function behind it. And then the car that emanates rearwards, the very strong values to this cowl that sweep up over the car, start to define what we call a high-bodied car. And maybe in side view, there's some view of the car and profile that really sets this car apart from the normal SUVs that you'd see on the streets in Australia.
Mm-hmm. So, it's high, it's obviously got the wider wheels, it's four-wheel drive, forward steering.
Yes.
I mean, it can just go anywhere.
Well, it can go anywhere, but the difference with Rolls-Royce, it goes anywhere in ultimate comfort and effortlessness. That's a key part of my design understanding, is to recognise that this vehicle isn't just something that can rock hop. We didn't design this vehicle to go into quarries and rock hop. It can get somewhere close to that, but ultimately the ride quality in going into these soft and off-road environments will Sorry, I have to go back to get that again.
No, that's all right.
Can I just go halfway through that?
Please.
Yeah. I mean, this is not a rock hopper. You know, this vehicle is very capable off-road, but the magic carpet ride will set it apart from all of its competitors. It's that Rolls-Royce magic carpet that just eats up the rough terrain as though it's not there. We believe that actually will define this car capably apart from its more brutal neighbours, let's say.
So how do you get to that point? I imagine a lot of trial and error to get to the point where you could have something that went off-road, but Did you have to keep going back and it's still too rough, we need that smooth ride?
The ride was always there. We knew that we could actually, by way of an engineering premise, place phantom levels of luxury and comfort into those challenging environments, those hostile environments. My challenge in design was to actually combine a sense of elegance with a sense of invincibility, this sort of unique combination that ultimately defines Cullinan. And we wanted to make any onlooker in no doubt that this vehicle can go off-road effortlessly. But in side view, just see that lovely sense of elegance that says, actually, I can go to Mayfair and pick the kids up, or I can go to a polo match and still cut a dash. So it has those two worlds, those two ingredients that set up those two worlds in the first gesture of the car, the first read of the car.
Was it fun?
It was challenging, like the car itself, going into challenging environments. It's a challenging brief. We're stepping out of our norm. But as I mentioned before, we have the stories and the inspirations that actually feed the design team 4 years ago now to come up with something that I think will really set this vehicle apart from other vehicles on the road in that category.
Show me some of your favourite features, the coolest features of the car.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
I'll just talk,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think from this view, you really can see that the Rolls-Royce Cullinan is something quite different in terms of its profile and its relationship to its wheels. It really is this sort of high-bodied car. It's more of a staff car, if you like, that can go into these hostile environments in ultimate safety and security, and obviously comfort and luxury, in and out, in a very capable way. And we've described those attributes, let's say those traits, with this sort of sense of length and elegance. But the front block that's very, very powerful, the swept screen and the fast roofline give this sort of sense of dashing elegance. It's a fast car. It's got a V12 with nearly 820 newton meters of torque. So this car can really, really perform.
Can you stick roof racks on it and all that sort of thing?
You could do that in Australia if you wanted to. You could do that. We won't prevent it because the vehicle has sort of headroom to go into those sort of areas which Rolls-Royce traditionally isn't recognised for. But with this vehicle, we're pushing the boundaries. We're accepting function, invincibility, strength and fortitude as being the ingredients uniquely for this Rolls-Royce. And in many ways, it's been my job to try and combine those two worlds into a car that expresses the traditional elegance and savoir-vivre, let's say, that you can expect from Rolls-Royce, but somehow you read in the wheels and these silhouettes something more vital, something more functional.
So there's not a part of you that is horrified at the prospect of taking this off-road or through a river or...
I like keeping my wellies clean. I don't wear Jimmy Choo wellies, but I do like the idea that Rolls-Royces should always be clean. So I would never drive it through brooks and rocks and rivers, but somehow we know that some of our customers, whether they're driving over sand dunes in Dubai in the Middle East or in your area of the world, going out to Ayers Rock, this kind of car will take them there in absolute comfort, effortlessly.
That's great, thank you.